Hi friends, Katie Steinberg here. I'm having some technical difficulties, I think, but we're going to move forward and hopefully it'll work itself out. This week at Missing Piece, we did an art mosaic together. Look for pictures of that on our Facebook page. But we all worked together to craft sort of our best hopes, intentions, thoughts, and prayers into a piece of artwork that we hope exhibited the spiritual expression of doing art together and the peace that we talked about as our topic this week. So without further ado, here is our message for the week, and I'll have a few reminders for you at the end, so stay tuned. In the season of Advent, worshiping people all over the world will focus on some of the concepts that Jesus' life on earth reminds us to emphasize. Joy, the childlike joy and trust that we are invited to with God. Peace, an assurance, an inner contentment that grows out of that trust. Love for each other, love for our neighbors, love for the stranger among us. And hope, the engine that allows us to continue to love and be joyful and have peace as we perpetually plant our hopes in a better world that Jesus taught about. Each week during Advent, we will light a candle that represents and reminds us of joy, peace, hope, and love. As more candles are lit, our time together grows more expectant, just as a mother preparing for birth. Today is all about peace. When we talk about peace, a myriad of images come to mind. Maybe hippies in the 60s, or a ceasefire in wartime. Maybe the unexpected calmness of heart in the midst of chaos. In the ancient texts, the words translated as peace in Hebrew is shalom. However, the English doesn't capture the depth of what shalom means. Shalom is to be safe, sound, healthy, perfect, complete. It signifies a sense of well-being and harmony both within and without. It's completeness, wholeness, peace, health, welfare, safety, soundness, tranquility, prosperity, fullness, rest, harmony. The absence of agitation or discord, a state of calm without anxiety or stress. It occurs to me without the contrast of chaos, war, frantic, agitated, disconnected, unsure, and anxious, we couldn't understand what peace means at all. Peace is the thing that feels so much more natural, despite being less frequent. It's like peace is how it's supposed to be. But why would we feel that way? Why would we have an expectation of peace when our world is one of such chaos and anxiety? What is it that gently sings to us, it's not supposed to be that way? I'm going to leave it up to you to Google Jesus on peace. There's some good stuff there. But the image that prompted this whole message for me is a story about Jesus and his friends getting caught in the rain. For a little context, they'd been working all day, hard, with a bunch of people on this lakeshore. Talking, helping people, sharing stories, bringing hope both in their actions and in their words. And they decide to sail across the Sea of Galilee to another town on the other side to keep doing their good work. But it's night, and this sea has a reputation for big storms cropping up quickly and wreaking havoc. Now, some of these guys are lifelong fishermen, so they know what they're getting into, but Jesus seems sure, and off they go, with a few other boats of groupies following after. So it's been a big day, and Jesus lays down in the back of the boat for a nap. Meanwhile, the weather turns really nasty. Waves washing over the side of the ship, wind and rain, maybe not Hurricane Matthew, but the kind of weather you do not want for sailing. Jesus is sleeping through this ruckus, and the others start panicking. They start yelling at this sleeping guy, Don't you care what's happening? We're all going to die. It was his idea to go out there after all. And look, at this point in the story, they've witnessed numerous things they could only describe as miracles. People healed. Nourishment supplied seemingly out of nowhere. Unexpected paths where there seemed no way out. So they had some expectations of this man they call teacher. And this situation, this storm sinking their boat, calls for some of his God hoodoo. These experienced sailors are sinking. Have you ever had someone wake you up from a good nap when you're super tired? Well, it was like that. Jesus is kind of pissed. So first the story says he yells at the wind and rain and it stops. It just ceases, just like that. So he turns to the others and basically says, "Why were you so scared? Don't you get it yet? Don't you have any faith in this thing we are doing together? After all you've seen and done and heard, how can you think we just get drowned in some storm after all we've been through?" Now, in my mind, Jesus doesn't say these things with disdain as much as deep calmness that stems from a confidence in who they are, in who God is, and in what they're here to do. To me, that is real peace. To be so sure and calm in the midst of total chaos. To just know with all of yourself that whatever storm you are in the midst of, it's not the end. That's peace. That's shalom that surpasses understanding. For today, my hope is that you will find some time to do art, as we did last week at Missing Piece. That you'll find time to be around people who care about you and your family and want to be a part of good in the world. And that time is peace. Perhaps there are to-do lists and ways to spend your time that the world would call more productive than coloring or painting or playing with Play-Doh. But I'm not here, we're not here, to reinforce what the world tells you is important. We are drawn together because we subscribe to a different set of priorities and seek peace in the midst of chaos. Because we want to be the kind of people that can shout at the storms of our lives and this world with confidence that they will not be the end of the story. Because we must prioritize connection with each other and God if we want to be part of bringing peace to this world. Because some moments can be, no, must be, about nurturing the deep parts of ourselves into completeness and wholeness and peace and health and welfare and safety if we're going to nurture those same things in ourselves, our families, our community, and our world. Amen. And after this sermon together, we created art. So again, I encourage you to check out Facebook and take a look at our creations. Both the adults and the children made separate creations, and they were fun. You know, and one of the things we always say at Missing Piece is you should never be comfortable with more than 75% of what happens there, because the 25% is where you're growing and learning and changing. I want to remind you to put Christmas at the Brewery on your calendar. It'll be Christmas Eve at 4 p.m. and just bring a finger food appetizer and we'll get together and have some fun around the Christmas story and some music. And as always, we invite you to come and join us at Missing Piece. You can follow us on Facebook, our smartphone app, or our website to stay up to date on where we are and what we're doing. Grace and peace, my friends.